Continue with this key. Number 3, 10, 18, and 24 are your three sides. Doesn't say anything about it being a right triangle. So let's just draw something kind of generic just to collect our data. So baby A would be opposite angle A. Baby B would be opposite angle B, and baby C down here is 24. We're trying to find all three of the angles. This is a side setup. If you remember, that is a law of cosine. With law of cosine, you want to start, if you're trying to find the angle, start with your smallest angle, start with your smallest side. So we'll do our 10 equation. 10 squared is equal to the other two sides squared, added together. Take away 2 times those singular, times the cosine of the angle that started it, and the 10 comes from angle A. To solve for that A over there, we're going to take these two things and subtract them over. We're going to take these three things and divide them under, and we'll do the inverse of that word. So A is equal to a cosine inverse. We started with the 10 squared. We're going to subtract the 18 squared and the 24 squared over. And underneath, we're going to divide by the -2, the 18, and the 24. And I'm going to go ahead and set up the next one. To figure out the next angle, that would be B, because 18 would be smaller than 24. So here is my 18 equation. 18 squared is equal to the other two sides squared, added together, minus 2 times those singular, times the cosine of the angle that started it, and the 18 is across from angle B. And I'll just repeat what I did over there for A. These two things get subtracted, these three things get divided, and that I do an inverse. So B is the cosine inverse. Start with the 18 squared, subtract 10 squared, subtract 24 squared, divide by each of the three multipliers right there. And then I won't do anything that drastic or that severe to figure out C. C will just be 180 minus angle A and minus angle B. Okay, so back to my calculator. I'm still in degree mode, so second cosine. Now what you want to do is you want to enter a parentheses here so that you can group the entire top, and I'll do something similar for the entire bottom. 10 squared, take away 18 squared, take away 24 squared, divide by, close that parentheses, divide by another parentheses, -2 times 18 times 24. And that is my angle A, 22.1916. Something similar for B, second cosine. That is an 18 squared. I didn't enter parentheses. Oops. Let me go back. Parentheses, 18 squared minus 10 squared minus 24 squared, parentheses, divide by -2 times that 10 times that 24, and that is angle B, 8334. And then I'll find C by going 180 minus those two answers, 22.1916 minus 4283.80, 334. And that is angle C, 114.9750. Another one. Number 4. Not a right triangle, so just something kind of basic just to collect my data. Angle, nope, that is baby A over here, across from angle A. Baby B is 55. And big C, the angle is 110. This is a side angle side. This is also a law of cosine problem. We're going to figure out what baby C is. Big A over there on the left, and big B over here on the right. All right, that is a side. I'm going to put a little slash over it so I remember that's a side. Okay, whenever you have a missing side with law of cosines, that is what you have to do first. So here is my C equation. C squared is equal to the 55 squared, the 90 squared, minus 2 times the singular, times the cosine of the angle that started it, and angle C was 110. This is an easier equation to solve for because almost everything is on the right-hand side. We just have to get rid of this square. So C will be the square root of all of that. And before I can find the angles, I need to know what all that is. So let me clear that last problem. Second square root. Still in degree mode. And I believe I've typed that out correctly. C is 120.4616. Now do yourself a favor, store this. Store this so that you can use that instead of having to type that out. So there's my store button down here at the bottom left. We'll store that as X. All right, now to find the angle, since 55 is smaller than 90, I'm going to find angle B first. Here is my 55 equation. 55 squared is equal to the other two sides squared. And you would type 120.4616 squared. Now to make that cleaner, I'm not going to type right out that. That is my C. So I'm going to put down C squared here. And remember that I have C, I just think that's cleaner, and I have C stored on my calculator. Minus what? Minus 2 times the 90 and the C that is stored on my calculator, times the cosine of the angle that started it, and 55 was across from angle B. So to get that B by itself, I'm going to take my 90 squared and my 120 point squared, subtract them. I'm going to divide by these three things, and I'm going to do an inverse of that word. So B is equal to, started off with the 55 squared. I subtract the 90 squared and the C squared. Just don't want to write out that decimal over and over. And I'll divide by these three little fellers here. And then after I find B, I will find angle A by taking 180, subtracting the 110 that was given at the very beginning, and I'll subtract angle B. And that's how I'll find those. So angle B, second cosine, parentheses, 55 squared minus 90 squared minus the 120 that I stored as my X squared, divide by parentheses, -2 times 90 times that 120 point answer, which is X. And there is angle B, 25.406. And that 7 will bump up to an 8. And then to figure out angle A, I'll go 180 minus 110 minus 25.4068, 44.5932.